This is the second part of my video about Tamla Horsford, the black woman who was found dead at a party of one of the females' house. She was around a group of Caucasian women. It was supposed to be ladies only. But Jean's boyfriend, Jose, and another guest husband was staying around. There were at least two men at this party. I believe this guy right here, as you see on this picture, knows what happened to Tamla. I believe he has something to do with her death. I don't believe her death was an accident. I think he had something to do with it, but might not be the only person that had something to do with it. I don't think any of the females at that party had anything to do with it, but I believe at least one of those females knows exactly what happened. I believe this is a cover-up, and we know how the people that investigate crimes like this, they rule it an accident. They don't really want to look into it when it's a black woman. I'm going to play a clip of this and I'll get back to my commentary.
The officers quickly determined Tamla was already dead and told the EMTs they didn't need to come out. From the very start, it was clear that police believed the homeowner's story, that this was just a tragic accident, and because of that belief, they treated the scene accordingly. They asked party attendees to come back later for interviews, but what's shocking is what wasn't done. No fingerprints collected, no DNA taken from underneath Tamla's fingernails, no examination for possible sexual assault. The lead detective did note one thing though: the position of Tamla's body seemed strange. She was face down, which didn't quite fit with a simple fall story. Remember, Jin's house had that security system that logged every door opening and closing with notifications sent right to her phone. Jin showed investigators the system log, which revealed something interesting. At 1:49 a.m., the back door leading to the balcony opened. 1 minute later, at 1:50 a.m., it closed. Then 7 minutes later, it opened again and stayed open until Jin and Jose came downstairs the next morning. According to them, the door was just left wide open all night, but that detail raised more questions than it answered. As police continued interviews, more inconsistencies started piling up. After Bridget left at 1:47, the next guest to leave was Marcy around 4:10 a.m. She said she had to get to work early. Then Paula left at 7:45 a.m. Around 8:30 a.m., Stacy and her husband Tom left. Jennifer, whose husband had picked her up, also left around the same time. But here's what's wild. Even though Jian's home was equipped with video surveillance, it conveniently wasn't recording the night Tamla died. Make it make sense. 2 hours after police arrived, Tamla was officially pronounced dead. Her body was taken for autopsy, but even while they waited for results, police continued treating this as nothing more than an unfortunate accident. The Forsyth County medical examiner backed up the accident story. They ruled Tamla's death accidental, claiming she had a blood alcohol level nearly 3 times the legal limit, plus traces of marijuana and Xanax in her system. According to them, intoxication caused her fall. People at the party had told police Tamla was smoking weed that night, but that Jen asked her to stop because of Jose's job. Police said they found rolling papers in Tamla's purse. These details were used to reinforce the idea that she was impaired enough to fall to her death. They pointed to an unlit cigarette found on the porch and the security door logs to support their conclusion. In their minds, Tamla went out to smoke around 1:57 a.m. and accidentally fell from the balcony. Case closed. But to those who knew and loved Tamla, that explanation never made sense. Yes, maybe she had been drinking that night, but no one, not even the people at the party, described her as stumbling, slurring, or sloppy drunk. So if she wasn't as impaired as they claimed, then why would she just fall When the autopsy report came back, the questions only got louder. The medical examiner listed injuries consistent with a fall, but the extent of those injuries raised serious eyebrows. The balcony she supposedly fell from was about 15 to 20 feet, a fall that could hurt someone, maybe break bones, but not necessarily kill them. Tamla had suffered blunt force trauma to the head, a broken neck, a dislocated wrist, lacerations to her heart, and multiple scrapes and bruises across her face, fingers, arms, and legs. But here's what doesn't add up. Tamla was wearing a long-sleeve fleece onesie. So how did she get cuts on her arms and legs? How did she dislocate her wrist and break her neck from a fall off a relatively low balcony into open grass? Photos from the scene show no rocks, no bushes, no sharp debris, just grass and a line of mulch bordering the yard, and her body would have landed past that mulch line with no indication she moved after hitting the ground. Still, on February 19, 2019, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office officially closed the case. If this story...
Let me pause right there. As you heard, they had surveillance cameras, but unfortunately, mighty strange that the camera wasn't working at the time of her death. Sounds familiar? Very familiar to me. Like in the case of Sandra Bland, when she was arrested and mysteriously lost her life. And the reason they gave us what happened to her, but no cameras working. And remember Kanika Jenkins at the hotel when she was found in the freezer? They said there was no cameras working in that area. There's been other cases. And I remember even in an interrogation room, this story pretty much got swept under the rug. There was a man that was arrested and at least brought in for questions in an interrogation room. And then the officer left and then came back and this man had basically taken his own life. But they said there was no cameras. So it's just mighty strange that when cases like this happens, unfortunately the camera is not working. Like I said, it had to be a cover-up. This woman supposedly had fallen off a balcony, but just listen to all the injuries. All of these injuries from a fall that probably was about between 15 to 20 feet high. So they're treating it as an accident. And they're really making it seem like this woman had a high alcohol level, had been using drugs, which contributed to her accident, her fall. But it sounds like it was more than just an accident. Sounds like this woman was taken out, was assaulted in the worst way. Could have broken her neck. And it was a cover-up. You know, like I said, black folks, we got to be careful out here. I'm going to talk about some other things in my next video, but I'm going to sign off. Like I said, this is part 2. Please check out the next video. And justice for Tamla Horsford.